Good morning. This is again Dr. George. So for our transportation management and modal analysis, this is session number two of our logistics and supply chain. So in this session, we will look into the critical aspects of transportation management and modal analysis. So we will also explore various transportation modes, route optimization techniques, flight cost management strategies, green logistics practices in the role of the TMS, no, transportation management systems. I don't know if in your company you may have that as well, no, especially if you're working in big companies, you have that. So we will also engage in a case study activity. So we will give you that instead to apply these concepts in a real world scenario. So this is again continuing our lesson. Okay, so this is our outline of what we will cover today. So we will begin with an overview of various transportation modes, road, rail, air, sea, and multimodal systems. Then we will analyze route optimization and carrier selection, including the tools that support decision making. So we will, in fact, I'm going to give you a tool software that does. Following that, we will also examine freight cost management, identifying the cost components and the cost reduction strategies. We will then explore green logistics and carbon footprint reduction. So this is very big, no, in other countries. In the Philippines, sadly, this is not our thing. I don't know. Maybe it's because one of my former teachers said, well, the thing is we don't have a lot of uh, footprint. The same, you know. No matter how small it is, we have to be considerate of the environment. So we must do our share. So, later on, we don't know. So we have to, we don't know whether the amount of carbon footprint we are leaving the environment would be big enough, no, to make a dent in the environmental situation. So we might as well already analyze our own carbon footprint and do whatever we can to minimize that. So next will be a discussion on transportation management systems and their features, and then finally we will include with the activity a case study, which will also be part of your assignment. So for every slide, I don't know whether that is already clear to you. By the time when you are watching this, no, pag nanonood po tayo, uh, every time there is an insight already, like for example, in this slide, you can see, oh, okay, oh, we have that in my company. So isulat nyo na, no? You write it down so that when the time comes when you are putting your reflection, because at the end, you will surely have your reflection here, part of your portfolio for ETIAP, So you always include the the line of work that you are connected with. So your company, your experience, and highlighting your skills, and your knowledge or technical know-how on the things that are being given here. Okay, so for those who are not part of the class, well, you don't have to do that, of course. It sure is also a good way to understand. There's a study in Harvard that says when you just listen, you retain maybe about 10-20% after some time, But when you write, take down notes, the real kind of taking down, because right now you can do a lot of, uh, you know, there's a lot of tools already in taking down notes, and most of the people are now lazy in writing. If you don't do that, then you don't retain them. Instead of just shooting pictures and all that, and then you just find cell phone. you won't learn that way. So it has to be put as part of your whole body function, as kinesthetic activities. You have to use your body, your own, hands and fingers and all that in order to do that. Okay, so every slide, you see something familiar, or maybe you don't know, hey, what's green logistics? Hey, what's carbon footprint consideration? What's that? Okay, you can pause the video for a while and then Google it, or maybe you can wait until the end. If it's unclear, then you Google it and then, oh, okay, we have that. We call it by a different name. So I'm gonna put something of an insight regarding that. So you don't wait until the end and then afterwards that's the time you create your assignment and then you forget a lot of things, right? And then it comes out that your assignment is just 5 pages. In reality, if you look at this, you can actually do a lot of insights here. For example, now we go to the transportation. Okay, so first we have road transportation. Road transportation is arguably the most accessible and flexible transport globally. We know that, right? Transport by road, of course, we are very close to it. We see it every day as we, look outside our window of our company, and as we go to work, make our commute, we see that this is the most commonly used mode of transport. It facilitates the door-to-door flexibility or delivery, which adds to customer satisfaction and operational efficiency, especially for short to medium distances. That's ideal. Road transport is ideal due to its convenience and coverage. However, there are also, of course, challenges such as the traffic congestion and fluctuating fuel prices, especially here in the Philippines. It needs to be managed effectively. Okay, railroad transportation or rail transportation, this is cost effective if you look at this. Okay. Uh, Especially in huge countries like I think Russia started by connecting everything, by rail, and the US is of course making use of this. So this is actually cost effective, especially for moving large quantities of goods over long distances. It is particularly suitable for bulk commodities like minerals and grains. It has a high capacity and is more fuel efficient per ton kilometer than road transport because of the sheer size, So we have the economy of size looking at it. It has limited flexibility though compared to road transport because it depends on fixed rail networks and terminals, reducing its adaptability to dynamic delivery points, unlike road, no? So like for example, for now, with ordering online, right? Uh, they would deliver to you using motorcycle delivery, right? Or to-door delivery. So of course you can't do that with rail transport. So what happens is that there's no flexibility here. You'll be the one to go to the port, or to the station in order to claim whatever you sent or what was sent your way, right? So I think it's a combination of both when you look at it. So for air transportation, of course, this is the fastest among the transport modes. It's ideal for time sensitive, no, or perishable goods. However, speed comes with a price. It is the most expensive option, and typically it is used for high value items. So it's reserved for high value items or urgent deliveries where cost is outweighed by time critical requirements. Another one that's very popular here in the Philippines, of course, because we're surrounded by the ocean, the oceans, is of course sea transportation. It's the most economical option for international shipping of bulk goods. It offers high capacity but is lower than other modes, making it suited for non-urgent, non-perishable maybe or bulk shipments. Okay, so it's large volume, low cost, less time sensitive can be the option for, this is the option for them. So meanwhile, multimodal logistics integrates two or more transport modes. This approach enhances efficiency by leveraging the strengths of each mode, such as cost effectiveness of the rail and flexibility of the road. It is a strategic way to reduce cost and improve delivery performance. Of course, what we're saying here is that we have multimodal approach, and the multimodal approach or multimodal logistics, of course, they would make use of the other modes as well. So yeah. Using two or more transportation modes to optimize the supply chain. Okay, so of course, in real world, you don't have to just use one. And usually talaga, there are usage is for many, especially for those hard to reach places. Of course, they will make use of the road, the air and road, or maybe rail and then road, or sea and then rail and then road. So, there are ways, of course, to do that. And usually, you just compute the total costs here and you choose the wisest option of what to improve delivery performance and of course governance. Okay, next is the route. Sometimes we call it the route optimization in carrier selection. So there are techniques here. So effective route optimization and carrier selection are crucial for reducing transportation costs and improving service levels. So these processes involve analyzing various factors to determine the best option. Yeah, so the techniques for route optimization is of course the use of algorithms. They now rely heavily on the GPS tracking. So algorithms are essential for calculating the most efficient routes for analyzing various parameters like distance and traffic. It's like Waze, right? So GPS tracking also allows real-time monitoring of the routes, helping to adjust path according to the current condition. We also have historical data analysis playing a crucial role in evaluating historical level or historical travel data, right, to enhance future route planning. So these methods help in saving time and fuel costs. So it also there's contingency adjustments here and there to minimize the delays and optimize delivery sequences. Okay, selecting the right carrier involves evaluating criteria. So usually we have cost, service quality, reliability, and capacity. So a thorough assessment ensures that chosen carrier meets the logistical needs. So we have cost evaluation. Assessing the cost of different carriers is crucial to ensure that there is budget alignment without compromising service quality. In order to remain in budget, of course, you have to look into the cost. Second is service quality. So, service quality, evaluate that. You include examining customer reviews and service standards to ensure reliable performance. So that is reflected in the customer satisfaction and issue resolution. So isn't it that even in Lazada, Shopee, and also in places like I think Amazon does that too, Alibaba does that too. So we have a lot of e-commerce site having this, so the customer reviews, and they even have the golden level sorts, in I think in Alibaba they have that. Reliability and capacity. This is very important as well. So reliability and capacity are essential factors to ensure timely delivery, and the ability to handle shipment volumes. So we are here to ensure the carrier can handle your volume and deliver on time. So when you balance these criteria, it ensures consistent, high quality logistics service delivery. Tools such as TMS or the Transportation Management System, route planning software, and data analytics platforms, they are essential for effective route optimization and carrier selection. So these technologies enhance decision making and operational efficiency. So I'm going to share with you one very simple, actually, very simple software called the POMQM. It has transportation there, but aside from that, there are other modules that are there as well. So I think I learned this from one of our IE professor in my former school. And then when I was doing my PhD in management, our teacher in data science, so quantitative techniques in business, she again reintroduced this. So this is actually part of the software, part of a textbook in operations management. So she shared that with us. And I found out, after using it year after year, I mean, through the years, it started at version one, I think, when I started. And now it's at version number five. So it's free. So you can download that. So it's called the POMQM software. And it has transportation management system, and very simple as that. So I will also teach you how to use that, at least for that, at least that point, that module, because there are many other modules that you can use as well. Route planning software, they optimizes the physical path based on traffic, distance, and cost. Of course, this is much more complicated, but there are softwares that you can uh, make use. There are many layers in this. So we have traffic, the distance, and maybe the total cost. Actually, if you will look at it, you can just average everything, and then you don't have to worry about traffic distance, because cost is like, you can make use of the cost and that's it. So making use of the cost, the total price, that will be involved in a certain route. Like for example, if you choose to travel um, to Lipa using this path, or going to the other route, so you can just run simulation, uh, and then eventually calculate the mean, the standard deviation, and then afterwards you can create your own optimum path, right? You don't even have to make use of other metric or KPI. The cost is sometimes all that matters. But if you are actually after time, and that's your most important metric, then that can also be asked for. So there are actually many other platforms that provide insights using big data, okay, especially when you talk about traffic, it involves other vehicles as well, not just your own performance, right? So that can be big now, It support predictive logistics, and predictive logistics planning information is there, so it uses big data. Okay, managing freight costs effectively is vital for maintaining profitability, of course, in logistics. So when we understand cost components and implement strategies for reduction, it can lead to significant savings. Okay, so we start with the cost component in transportation. First, we have fuel cost. No? So cost component in transportation includes, as we said, fuel cost, labor cost, maintenance expenses, toll costs. So we have all of this plus more. I am sure if you are already doing this and using this, you calculate your cost in transportation, then there are other costs that may or may not be here. So for example, in a certain company, if they don't have a person hired by the company to do the transport, even the driver, because of the the driver, the pahilante, the helper, all of those are part of the labor, o kaya outsource. They even sometimes outsource this, so the total is just everything. So this one is very important in analyzing because, like, for example, for fuel cost, isn't it that in the Philippines it fluctuates week after week? Like the I know that next week, of course, if people will see this video, they will not understand what we're talking about, no? But next week, so what is the date today? This is 2025. So next week, almost April, we will have another 1 peso something increase in the fuel cost. So it fluctuates for us. And often this is the dominant cost in delivery, in transportation. So labor, yeah, as I said, we have the drivers, logistics staff. They must be paid competitively. Naku, ngayon, no, even the ones that are doing the driving, ito nga malaking cost din, no? Especially if that person is part of the company, of course, no? Because there's insurance, there's a lot actually, and you're paying a premium, especially if this person is driving long distances. Yung mga no? Night differential, overtime, mhm, so many. Okay, maintenance, of course, yung maintenance expenses, the vehicle reliability and safety. It will save you a lot of cost, especially if it breaks down, no, kaya, naku, mahirap yan. Especially if it's involved in an accident and you have your what we call uh, uh, you can be actually sued, no, for negligence, and especially if you are hiring people who are not licensed, o kaya they committed like felonies, hindi mo na check, yan, no, mga liability yan, no. And the law is very strict on this. So you really have to come out clean, especially if you're the company. Check everybody, NBI clearance and all that. Kasi meron tayong mga liability. That will be part of you not practicing, mga good practice in hiring, training your people, even yung uh, rescheduling, so you don't make them, you make them drive all night, yun, di ba? Sa dulo, the company is the one to blame. So toll is also another one, no? So there are many costs actually involved in transportation. So in this slide, we talk about the strategies naman, no, to reduce the freight cost. So of course, we know some of these already, and I'm sure you are also doing the same with your company. Please include it in the insights, no, in the assignment. So what do you do in order to reduce the cost of the freight or transportation? So in this slide, we say consolidating shipments, it helps reduce costs, combining multiple orders, right, into fewer shipments, maximizing transport efficiency, also negotiating carrier rates, better rates with carriers, especially if you are very loyal to that carrier. No? You can significantly lower costs. Anyway, you are always doing it or partnering it with them, right? And then another one is optimizing load capacity. It ensures that each shipment is fully utilized, reducing the number of trips needed and lowering the cost. Of course, in the software that I was talking to you about, especially this is tied up actually with the inventory management. No? So sometimes you have to look at the sweet spot between, do you go for multiple orders, yan, no? Or you just do a one-time order. But the problem is, of course, you will have a lot of inventory, right? In the office, in the factory. You have to guard it, you have to maintain it, you have to put a lot of costs also and dedicate corners. One, it's not just one corner. Sometimes the whole floor is dedicated for that um, material, right? So there's always that decision between increasing on the number of orders, okay, no inventory at all, just in time, or do you just do a one-time ordering and then you save on the ordering cost, but you will have holding cost. So all of those are part of those considerations. That's part of inventory management, not necessarily in this course or subject. So in your case, what do you do in order to reduce the costs? Or is that even your priority to reduce the freight cost? Okay, effective freight cost management directly impacts the overall logistics performance, enhancing competitiveness and sustainability. Companies that manage cost well can improve their bottom line significantly. Okay, so when you enhance logistics performance, maybe through improved resource allocation, you do competitive advantage in the market by enabling lower pricing or higher margins. Another one is to support for sustainability because efficiency often aligns with environmental goals. And the people sometimes, especially the so-called grain market, they have a, um, they better align with companies that are also after or looking for sustainability. So they are also supporting those companies. Okay, now we go to green logistics. Green logistics focuses on minimizing environmental impact in transportation and logistics operations. It involves implementing sustainable practices and technologies to reduce the carbon footprints. So why is it important? So what is the importance of green logistics? Green logistics is now a core concern in supply chain management. It contributes to sustainability, promoting sustainability by reducing environmental impact. It leads to cost reductions through energy savings and process improvements, and also enhances brand reputation. And this is what I was telling a slide ago, especially among eco-conscious consumers and regulators. So in this slide, I think what is a good insight or reflection is about your company. Do you think your company is supporting green logistics, or do you not even care about that? Or if it's not supporting green logistics, what do you think is going to make them? What can you tell them in order for them to embrace green logistics? Diba? So that's a key concern, especially for this planet of ours. Little blue-green planet. Third planet from the sun, right? So, syempre, we need to preserve uh, this planet of ours. Do you think it's important as well? And do you think the market recognizes that? So, what are the techniques to reduce carbon footprint? There are actually several techniques. It includes, especially aligning with, with transportation. So, route optimization. So you have to forgive me. I am pronouncing it as an American and as a British. It's either route or route. It's actually both acceptable. So optimizing delivery routes reduces unnecessary travel, leading to lower carbon emission. That's very understandable. Increasing efficiency in logistics operation. Right? Another one is to switch to energy efficient vehicles. We have a lot of that as well. Biodiesel or electric fleets. Dami na, no? We have so many electric vehicle now, or HEV, hybrid electric. So it also consumes less fuel and emits fewer greenhouse gases. Another one is adopting multimodal transport for energy efficiency, also implementing recycling programs in logistics operation to help minimize the waste and promote sustainable practices, supporting overall carbon reduction efforts. So actually, there are many case studies that aligns with this. No, so how companies are are focusing on lowering emissions. So that's real world case studies. It shows how green practices lead to lower emissions, better compliance, and increased customer trust, though they also come with challenges like upfront investment and employee training. Diba? So, of course, you will have to absorb that. But of course, the benefit would be enhanced brand reputation, compliance with environmental regulations. In countries like, I think Australia is very big on this, and also Japan. Especially, I know in Japan, they only focus on those companies with EMS. Ayan, yung mga energy management and environment management system. Even Toyota, they only allow yung suppliers with recognized EMS. Of course, that has higher initial cost. Tapos you need to train your employees in order to adopt green logistics. Ayan. So what do you think about your company? Are you doing this? Or if not, do you know of companies doing green logistics? Okay, transportation management systems, they are software solutions that facilitate the planning, execution, and optimization of logistics operation. TMS can significantly enhance efficiency and visibility. Okay, so TMS provides an overview of the entire transportation process, allowing organizations to manage shipments from planning through execution. It integrates various functionalities into one platform. So these are the key features, no, for TMS. Route planning, load optimization, real-time tracking. We can do that as well to provide visibility and transparency so that it allows actually for timely decision making and improve customer satisfaction. Yeah, so real-time tracking so that you can make your decision making on the go on real time. So the benefits would be improve efficiency by eliminating redundancies and manual planning. Second is cost savings. This goes without saying because it's already embedded. That's the reason why you're doing it. You are actually saving on cost, especially in routing and fuel management. Enhanced visibility because TMS provides enhanced visibility into the supply chain operations, allowing businesses to track shipments in real time, isn't it? No, so even from the point of view of our customers, if you're B2B, all the participants in the whole logistics and supply chain can see where you are. Okay? So they can track their shipments. So merong sense of trust, merong customer service, enhanced visibility. They know where you are, right? So better customer service, faster responses, and accurate delivery estimates. Okay? So now we go to the interactive case study. So we will explore a scenario involving expansion of a business handling perishable goods internationally. Participants will analyze factors influencing the optimal transport mode. So this is going to be part of your assignment. So scenario one, expanding internationally with perishable goods. So in this scenario, you will discuss the unique challenges of transporting perishable goods internationally, including time sensitivity, because delays can cause spoilage, right? Temperature control, no? Vital for food safety and compliance, and then regulatory considerations, including customs and health certification. Yeah, so put it in your assignment because we don't have to discuss with our co-participants. Well, you can actually if you want to, but you can make use of your own experience or search other companies that does the same. So what are the concerns here, especially if you are expanding internationally pa, not only here in the Philippines, with perishable goods. Another one is the factors to consider for optimal transport mode. We have the speed of transport, the reliability of service, cost consideration, of course, very important, and then the nature of goods. So those are factors that you consider when choosing optimal transport mode. So in this simulation exercise, okay yung aking picture. You, the students, will apply your learning to choose the optimal transport mode for a specific case involving perishable goods. So in your case, so for example, mag-imagine kayo, no? So just imagine your company is transporting perishable goods. So kayo na magbigay ng example, no? Or if you know of a certain company doing that, or even if your company does that, if you have perishable goods, usage in your company, then you can actually say it. So this will give you the hands-on approach where you can give practical application of the concepts discussed. So what are you going to do? What are the consideration? We mentioned about the factors. What are the factors that you will be considering when you are transporting, as I said, no perishable goods? On the other hand, pwede nyo rin ilagay doon, what if it focuses, your company is on non-perishable goods, diba? So what would be the changes? So finally, this is our conclusion for the for the course today, our session. We have covered the strengths and limitations of various transportation modes, okay, the strategies for route optimization and carrier selection, the techniques for managing and reducing freight costs, the relevance and tools of green logistics. We've touched it a bit, but of course, if you can share what you know and what you have experienced, especially with green logistics, you can also share that. The relevance and tools of what green logistics is, and then the role of technology, no? TMS, in modern logistics operation. And then the case study, of course, you are free to give your own examples there, ties all these elements together in a practical and applied context. So, yeah, so that's it for this week. I hope you are able to give your insights again, practical insights based on your past experiences and what you're doing in your company as well. So, thank you for your attention, and I look forward to your insights during our activity. Thank you very much, guys. God bless.